All right, so we're back to talk about episode 2, season 1 of The Walking Dead. I'm Justin. I've got Jessi back with me. And Jessi, I think the burning question is going to be, do you still dislike the show or are you into it now?
I'm very much into it now.
I knew
it. I'm very hooked now.
I knew you were going to get into it. I knew it.
I'm just invested. I'm very invested. Like, I want to know where Merle went.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's gotten there. So let me ask you something. Now that you've been introduced to more characters, who's your favorite character on the show thus far?
Glenn.
I knew it.
He's just the unexpected badass. You know, like he looked like a little kid at first, but then he starts doing all this badass shit. And I'm like, all right, Glenn, I see you.
And I think arguably, you know, I'm sure people have different opinions. I think as you're going to watch this show, I think Glenn has some of the best character development in the entire show. Like throughout his time on the show, his transformation and the things he goes through, like he really just has. See, a lot of shows I think they make the mistake of like a character has one thing happen to them and then they just change. Glenn's is a very gradual change where he's changed by his experiences. It's
Does
great.
he become more badass?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I ain't going to say like he's out here
Can't wait.
G.I. Joe or something, but he certainly is. So episode 2, let's see. So episode 2 had a lot of cool stuff. You got to meet some of the group from the from the camp or whatever. So Glenn's your favorite. What'd you think about Merle?
I hate Merle with a passion. And the fact that I don't know, what is the dude's name that he was beating up?
T-Dog.
T-Dog?
Yeah.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
All right, well, the fact that he was going to save him and make multiple attempts to save him is like beyond me, because I was like, leave him on the roof.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Leave him for the zombies.
Yep. Let the anti-racist zombies, because zombies aren't racist. They'll eat you no matter what color you are. They don't care.
Yeah, your guts taste the same either way. But I have come to the conclusion that Merle and Daryl have some childhood trauma for sure. They got some issues.
Whoa, that's so cool. So you've up to this point, you know, we're doing episode 2. You've watched up to 3, but no, what's crazy is as the seasons go on, they kind of get into some of that with that's good. That's good, man.
Textbook. It's textbook. They're just so mad. But I just realized that Daryl wasn't in the second episode. I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Yeah, a little bit, but and we'll talk more about that when we review episode 3. But for episode 2, the flow of the episode, of course, is that Rick is saved by Glenn from the tank. Glenn takes him. They go across the roofs. They find the group that they're with. Merle is racist and beats up on T-Dog and Morales. I think that was his name, Morales, because you have a Martinez and a Morales in this show. So it was Morales he beat up. He like karate kicked him and then beat the crap out of T-Dog. And then Rick saves T-Dog and handcuffs him to the roof. They go looking for a way out. And then eventually Merle gets left on the roof. So I'm making sure we're staying in that episode. So what did you think about the guts trench coat going down the street thing from your TikTok that looked like it was stressing you out?
It was, because like, that's so risky, first of all. That's going to get on your skin. I don't care how hard you try for it not to get on you. It's going to get on you. And also, when it started raining, and I was like, y'all done for now. Y'all done for. It ain't going to work no more.
You can go to Jessi's TikTok. She does some reaction videos of her watching it, and you were just like losing your shit when it started raining.
I was. Dude, at one point, I really felt like I was going to throw up. I was so anxious about what was going on.
See, that's good. That's a good show if it makes you that anxious just watching a work of fiction. So, I mean, it gets better. Now, the one thing, and I mean, again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but the one thing I will say as the show goes on, what you just said is the way I feel. Like Rick specifically stated, don't let any touch your skin or your eyes, you know, like They stayed so, okay, well, as the show goes on, they just completely throw that rule out the window, and they'll be like, someone will rip a zombie's throat out and like the blood will be all over their face, and then they'll be, they really kind of, that's probably one of my biggest criticisms of the show is it's a lot like Lost in the sense of like they lay down this established rule and then just ignore it the rest of the show.
Well, maybe they realized that it didn't matter. But there was one part that Rick took his glove off and you could see the blood on his hand. Before they even went out on the street with all their guts on. So, and
then when all the zombies started charging them, like realized that they were people, that was good. Then the one zombie climbed the fence.
No.
The one,
yeah. Well,
did you remember the zombie with the rock at the window that was beating the window with the rock?
I mentioned that in my TikTok videos. How they are not that smart.
No, they
wouldn't know to pick it up.
No, they certainly wouldn't, and I really don't think they climbed. So, one of them climbed the fence, one used a rock to beat the glass, and I don't think you ever see any behavior like that past that point. Like they're just mindless, shambling corpses.
It was very intense, though. So, I guess it was for the fear factor and all that. So it worked.
What about T-Dog with the key going down the drain?
Well, he should have threw it down the drain on purpose. That's what he should have done.
That shouldn't have been an accident.
I was like, karma done got him. Because that was karma.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was going to help you. And the universe is like, nah, not today. He needs to pay for his ways. Do you start to see Rick becoming... Like, you start to see his, forthcoming, badass qualities, like when he just comes up behind Merle with the rifle and, bow, puts him down and then handcuffs him. But I like how they show him go to the roof and, his hand's shaking. So it's like, it's in him, but that's just, he's kind of growing into becoming a badass. I'm still not very sold on Rick. You will be. You will be. Maybe. He's very cringy to me. He has way too many emotions. Well, but that's a problem within me. I know that, but also I don't know. What I do love about Rick is his accent because it just is so funny. It's just so exaggerated. My name's Officer Friendly. Officer Friendly, and he's like, "You got some on your nose." And he pulls out his drugs. It's like, you got some on your nose. But I was also wondering, how did he have those drugs? I guess, really, how did he have that? At this point, you're only a month into the apocalypse. So, number one, scavenging. They scavenge cars and trucks, but also Merle clearly was someone who probably used quite a bit before the apocalypse. So it stands to reason Merle probably had a decent stash before the apocalypse happened. You know what I mean? Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, see, that's the thing I was thinking. After a month into it, or however long, you think it would be ran out by now. Yeah, his stash. Do drugs have a expiration date? Does cocaine have an expiration? Let me just call up my drug dealer and ask. I don't know. But it's so Glenn is I'm glad you like Glenn, because that's who I was talking about last episode when I was like, next episode you're going to meet one of the most popular characters in the history of the show. Yay. And Glenn is just the guy you want to root for. He has a moment or two there in I think season 3 where he was kind of getting on my nerves, but I totally get where he was coming from, and you'll see when you get there. But other than that, Glenn has just been Glenn's just the guy you want to win all the time. I think you'll start to like Rick as he slicks his hair back. I think the cowboy sheriff get-up's what you can't take serious. Once he ditches the hat and he starts slicking his hair back, I think you're going to start to like Rick. We'll see. I'll let you know when my feelings change. Now, what about the Lori Shane situation? What do you? That's what you were most anxious to see, and now you've seen it. I can't remember. Okay. Wait a second. Did they meet in the second episode or in the third? When did they get to camp? So the third. That's the third. Okay. So episode 2, we get to see that there's some Humpty Dumpty going on behind the scenes. Oh yeah. How dumb. Anyways, I don't know. I was very much against Lori until the 3rd episode.
I don't think you're gonna stay Team Lori very long.
Well, I don't think I just kind of like recounted all the bad things that I said about her that were based on the fact that she didn't know her husband was dead for real. Like, she didn't know because he wasn't. But then, you know, there's a reason why she thought that. So.
Well, I always try to justify it, right? Because people be like, it's only been a month. It's like, yeah, but I bet a month in the apocalypse feels like a year. And on top of that, you got to look at the fact that she thought her husband was dead. Shane was her protector and keeping her safe. And so she rewarded that with smelly wood sex. I mean, come on, they're not really bathing or showering. I bet the little, you know, when they were like on the forest floor. I mean, I guess you get it however you can get it in the apocalypse, and you really don't mind. But I'm like, that's got to be some sweaty, stinky woods lovemaking there.
Look, I hope that I'm never in that situation and find out. So y'all just do whatever you do, and yeah.
But so you got.
I don't know. I still don't like Shane very much, though. At all.
And that's something it's really Shane's character Shane has a really interesting story arc. I'm excited for you to get on past this, you know, like get on into Shane's story and then kind of see how you feel about him and if that changes any, and you know, but yeah, what did you think of Andrea? You got to meet Andrea, my least favorite character in the history of this entire show, the blonde chick. The one that was like...
So that's Lori's sister?
No.
Is that
her sister is the young blonde girl that's back at camp.
Oh, I thought that Lori and that girl were sisters.
No,
okay.
No. She's sisters with the young chick. The young chick doesn't talk very much, but that's her sister. But Andrea's the blonde that was like, is it considered shoplifting? No, dumbass, the world ended. Y'all broke and entered this store.
I don't have a lot of feelings about her right now.
I mean,
we'll see.
It's not necessarily her acting, but oh my gosh, you're going to see her get to display some emotion, I guess you could say, in a few episodes. And it is still makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's just, I don't know. And what you need to do is once you finish season 1, you need to look up bad lip reading of The Walking Dead.
Yes, that's like my favorite.
I love it. The Walking Dead. It's the one they did for The Walking Dead. Like, I would get through seasons 1 and 2 before you watch it, so it doesn't spoil anything. But it is freaking hilarious.
You really think I'm gonna be able to hold out?
Yes, for the sake of our listeners.
I can't.
You can't have it spoiled.
Okay, I guess.
So,
but yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So when was it? We've got a delay, too. I don't mean to keep interrupting you. There's a slight delay between us and the streaming app we're using. So, like, there'll be a point where you'll say something and there's silence. And then so I'm not trying to interrupt you. But when was it you realized you started liking the show? Was it episode 2 or 3?
Oh, it was definitely 2, because if it hadn't have been 2, I wouldn't have kept watching to episode 3. I went right into episode 3. I couldn't stop. And then I wanted to go into 4, but it was late at night. And I was like, man, I need a palate cleanser. So.
Well, good. I'm glad that it's not such a chore for you to watch. You know what I mean? Like now, because I would hate for you to commit to doing this podcast and then, like, I absolutely hate the show the entire time. Like, that would be such a chore.
I would still do it, though, because that's like a fresh take on it, because this is for people who love The Walking Dead, and then they can hate on me for hating it, but now I like it. So.
Well, actually,
it's all good.
You really did. I was very happy. Like, you didn't get any hate in the comment section. There were people that were like betting on when you would start liking it. They're like, by season 2, she'll be hooked. I guarantee it.
Well, nobody bet by episode 2, so I win.
No kidding. Maybe they meant to say episode 2, but they put season 2.
I don't know. I think that would have been too risque to say episode 2. But it's funny because, like, when you look at my TikTok reaction videos, you can kind of tell when I was watching the beginning of the episode 2, I was still not into it, and I was expecting to not be into it. But through the videos, you can see me getting into it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember, like, the exact moment, but It's good.
I'm so glad you like it now. And it's just, I think, too, what helps is meeting more characters. Because, like I said, it was such episode 1 was so isolated. You had a few other characters, but, like, now you're getting a big group dynamic, and you've got different characters with different personalities to, like, find and enjoy and pull for. Like Glenn, like, you've met Glenn, and if nothing else, now you're super into, like, Glenn and rooting for him. And so I think seeing more people probably really helped that.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I just don't get how you don't love Officer Friendly.
It might change.
I love Rick.
It's too soon to tell.
I love Rick, man. He's one of my favorite characters in any show. And I'll tell you, by the point, like, you can look it up. Like, people have been saying, how in the hell is he never won, like, an Emmy? Like, his acting gets really good. Like, he really grows. Just wait. I'm telling you, just wait. His acting really blows up.
I'm taking your word for it.
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have some moments. Like, we definitely have. Really, his major drawback is just his accent, because that's really the only thing that people make fun of, you know, as the seasons go on, because his accent it's good, but there are certain points where you're just like, oh, Rick, no country.
This is overkill.
My grandpa's name was Carl. That was my grandpa's name. And I never in my countryness have been like, Papa Coral.
Coral.
Dad, I am not a element of the ocean. I am Carl. Imagine Rick going.
It's funny. It's funny because, like, if there was someone in our town named Coral, they would probably say Carl.
Oh, yeah.
You know, their accent would make it into Carl.
I just wonder if, like, Rick went scuba diving for the first time, if he'd be like, Coral! And then Carl would be like, what?
How does he say Carl in his regular accent, I wonder? We need to know.
Well, he's English, so it's like, Carl.
Carl?
Carl.
Would you like a spot of tea, Carl? No, English people don't even name their kids Carl, so it doesn't matter.
You know, Andrew.
Who names their kid Carl?
Andrew Lincoln's real last name, I think it's something like Andrew Clutterbuck or Andrew. It's some very English sounding last name, and he changed it.
Clutterbuck?
His stage name is Andrew Lincoln because it sounds a little bit more American. Let me see here. Andrew Lincoln, real name.
Why would you change your name from Clutterbuck to anything?
Yeah, it's Andrew James Clutterbuck.
That is the coolest name.
And he went with Andrew Lincoln for the more American sound.
No, sir. Why do people want to sound American? Like, oh, yeah, let me just sound more cookie cutter and not be original at all.
You do see that. You have American people thinking like English stuff is so cool, but then you have like other, countries that think some American stuff is so cool. What would be like a super American name? Chet.
John Smith.
No kidding. Hey.
Laylo, my son, and I were just talking about that yesterday. He asked me the same question.
What the most American name would be?
Well, he said the most common name in America.
John Smith.
Yep.
But I
think that's facts.
John Smith. I mean, it is an all-American name. John, and then the last name Smith is everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up this episode, just going through the series of events, so we know so by episode 2, you really liked Glenn.
Yes.
You kind of like Lori, but you're indifferent on Andrea, and you don't like Shane.
I wouldn't even say I like Lori. I just kind of took back all the bad things I said about her.
So you're just indifferent to her and Andrea right now. You're just like, I don't really hate them. I don't love them, like they're there.
I like the old dude with the cool hat. What's his name?
Dale.
I like him. And I really like Glenn.
I've got to pull up. There's an episode where we used to do Walking Dead What Ifs. And what's great is once you get into the show, like we can do Walking Dead What Ifs with you, because where people ask like what if, and then we just speculate on it. But someone had said, so there's a scene, and again, this ain't a big spoiler, but there's just like a scene with Dale and another character where he tells them, I know what kind of man you are. But somebody had said, what if Dale, so Dale was trying to expose a certain character, and I read the question wrong and thought it said, what if Dale would have exposed himself to this character? And so he's like, I don't like the way you're doing things, zip. And he's like, oh my God, I'm going to show you what kind of man I am.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But Dale is great, but he does make Dale face. If I like, as you watch it, watch Dale when he gets disgusted or like not happy with something, he makes this like face. They call it Dale face, and we've joked about like people humping in the camper and Dale just being outside the window like
yeah.
I do like Dale though. Dale is a good character. He's a very sweet man. He the group sometimes I don't think deserves him because he's just such a good guy, and then so I'm anxious for you to see Dale's character development.
Yay.
I'm trying to think of any other characters, man. What about Morales, this Hispanic guy that Merle like karate kicked and then he just gave up on the fight?
I legit did not pay much attention to him, for real.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't impactful.
For some reason, I just don't hear them say their names. And then I'm trying to make these TikToks, and I'm like, the one that does this to that person, and I don't know anybody's names.
You'll get to know them, but that is hard. Like when we used to watch Game of Thrones, I was super into it, and we did a little Game of Thrones podcast, and there were certain characters that like I had trouble remembering their names because they're in Game of Thrones. It's so many characters,
but don't they have weird names?
Yeah. Well, it was like Brienne of Tarth, and I used to say Brienne of Tar for some reason because like Tar or Tarth. But people would get so mad if you got the names wrong. They'd be like, are you not a fan of the show? You can't remember the names. And I'm like, no, I have a life.
They don't have it written on their head or anything. Jeez.
Right. Well, unlike you, sir, who probably do nothing but sit at home and watch the show, I watch it and then I go out into the world.
The real world.
I have a job and responsibilities, and sometimes characters' names will slip my mind. So it's
not the most important thing.
No, and there's a lot of characters in The Walking Dead, man. There are a ton. So you definitely, I'm sure you'll have trouble remembering some names, and it's okay because it happens. As long as you remember what they look like.
But yeah, I'm trying to catch their names. Like I don't know why that one thing, and they have the super like normal names, so I don't know.
Yep.
We'll get it together.
You've got Andrea, T-Dog, Morales. You've got Glenn, Rick, everybody at camp, Merle. And so you hated Merle.
Hate him. I wanted the zombies. He's just such an asshole.
It's the cocaine or angel dust or whatever he was sniffing.
Whatever it was, but I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. Like, really, there's probably only like 10 people left on the earth, and this is how you're treating them? Makes no sense.
I know.
I'm just so mad.
Cool behind the scenes fact. So when they were filming that, they actually filmed that in Atlanta. Like they closed off streets and they filmed that in Atlanta.
What? That is so cool.
So the cops, apparently certain police departments or somehow law enforcement was not aware, or people weren't aware of that it was being filmed, so they saw Michael Roker, who plays Merle, up on the roof with a sniper rifle.
Stop.
And like law enforcement got called because they thought a sniper was on the roof trying to like shoot people.
What?
Yep. But
that is crazy.
Alas, no one was arrested because it was just a film.
How would they not know though?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You look up on a roof and there's, this guy with like leather wristbands and a leather like vest, and he's got a sniper rifle. You'd be like, oh, damn.
You would think, though, with a big production. Oh, that's another thing. I wonder if when they started the show, it was really low budget.
Oh, 100%.
And they didn't expect it to like get as big as it did.
Oh, you're exactly right. That's exactly what it was. Okay. In the beginning, like they had funding and like, it was a project that they were hoping to get big, but they didn't know how big it would be. And I mean, within a few seasons, you've got Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl, and you've got Rick making $1 million an episode.
Holy crap!
So it definitely, you're exactly right. It started off a little bit more low budget. They didn't quite have the, the means that they would eventually acquire as the show grew and became like a phenomenon. So like, by like season 2, I think it had really started. Like by the end of season 2, the show really was full stride. Like it was a worldwide phenomenon. Everybody was talking about it and the budget just went up. But
yeah,
you're exactly right.
Well, the first episode is, now that I think about it, it reminds me of all those really funny, like not meant to be funny, but those really low budget scary movies we used to watch, and we loved them. I think if I hadn't heard anything about The Walking Dead and like all the hype, I would have loved the first episode for that reason.
Yep.
But when I watched, I was like, this doesn't add up.
I just remember.
But then I came to that realization that it probably was like low budget and they weren't expecting it to get as big as it did.
Yep. So. Exactly. So it's funny too, before we go a little more behind the scenes stuff. So when they pitched, I think they tried to pitch the show to HBO, which, to be honest, I really would love to see an alternate universe where HBO did pick it up, because HBO is just so savage with their shows. Like it would have been way more language. It would have been way gorier. Granted, AMC, it definitely, The Walking Dead definitely pushed boundaries on gore. I mean, it's a lot of that, but it would have been a lot more brutal, more nudity. It would have been way more, just raw with HBO, but
more naked zombies.
Yes, you do actually. I think there is the naked zombie at some point in the show, but so HBO didn't pick it up, and when AMC picked it up, Robert Kirkman actually had pitched that they didn't like the idea of a zombie show, and they were like, no, we're not really thinking that'd be a good investment. And so he's like, well, actually, the cause of the apocalypse turns out to be zombies. I mean, not zombies.
I was like,
wait, like, duh. He says he was like, the reason for the outbreak turns out to be aliens, with no intention of that actually happening, just to get them to say yes. And so they were like, okay, well, aliens sell well. People like watching alien flicks. Fine, we'll do it. And then, down the road, after they were making millions and millions, he was like, oh, yeah, by the way, there's no aliens in this show.
Where's the aliens?
Though some
I would have watched that.
Some have speculated that alien spores, started this, so... Yeah. Who knows? But I'm
like, you like zombies? No. Well, here's the catch: zombies. Because I'm
sold.
Well, it started from a zombie apocalypse.
It's like, so just bear with me here. The cause of the zombie apocalypse: zombies. Dude, yes.
Love it. That changes the game.
Why didn't we ever doubt this show? Take our money, make a show.
That you should have said that from the beginning.
Jesus, man, you almost lost a good opportunity.
It's a good thing you brought that up.
I'm dumb. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this one. But Jessi, I'm glad that you're into it, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on episode 3, because Schnitt's really starting to get real on it by then.
It is getting real.
Getting raw.
Ugh.
Oh, did you watch Breaking Bad?
No.
Oh, see, they're both an AMC show. Okay. And the Charger that Glenn is driving is like the same Charger that Jessi drove in Breaking Bad. So there's actually some connections between Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. And I mean, I don't think they're canon, but some people say
is it like they're Easter eggs.
Yeah, basically. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to start watching that too, so I can catch them.
Oh, Breaking Bad is a great show, man. Great show. Now, you're talking about some acting. Now, that show has some phenomenal acting, like out the gate. Like the acting is 100%. But we will see you guys soon. Let us know what you thought of episode 2 in the comments section. Let's go back in time together. In the meantime, I'm Justin.
I'm Jessi.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. We'll see you soon.